Hello friends, it's Samara and I'm here today with a layout for Pretty Little Studio. Today I'll be using the Sunkissed collection, which has these wonderful bright colors, many florals. It's just a great summer collection. The first paper I'll start off with is this sidewalk chalk paper with those rainbow stripes. Next, I move on to Backyard Beauty, which is this gorgeous floral. Look at that, it's incredible. I'm going to trim it off to about 5 inches. And then I'm going to come in with this paper, which is called Rainbow Sprinkles. And I'm going to trim off about 2 inches from the side, just to add a little bit of contrast between the floral paper and the striped rainbow paper. So the 2 inches will be divided into half, so 1 inch strips that I will use to help balance off that paper. The next thing I'm going to do is tear off the edges of this floral paper, and I just love the way that raw edge looks. It's gorgeous. I'll do the other side as well. And I love to curl or roll the edges of the torn paper. It adds just such an interesting texture as well as elevates your layout just a little bit, adding some dimension. I end up putting the paper down towards like too close to the right edge, so I'm going to have to pick that up. Typically when I glue things down, I don't press them down all the way. It's not uncommon for me to have to lift things up again. And then I'm going to position those little ledger strips down next to that, again, just to add some additional contrast. I decide here I just don't have enough contrast. So I'm going to use the Distress Oxide in Black Soot and just carefully brush some black soot along the edges of that ledger strip. I'll go ahead and glue that down. Just having a tiny bit of that peek through. And then I'll do the same to the other strip. And glue that down as well. All right, grabbing my photo again, I'm going to trim this out. I typically will print my pictures on a 4x6 paper, but I will make my pictures a little bit smaller. I like them to have a white border around them. This picture was taken at the Empress Hotel in Victoria, British Columbia. My husband and I went on a cruise, an Alaskan cruise, in June of 1922. 1922. How about 2022? That's so funny. Here I am looking for a ledger paper. This is the 8x8 ledger pack. And I end up using this one, which has these gorgeous little rainbow colors throughout it. And again, I'm just looking for something just to add a little bit of contrast between the bright and colorful backgrounds. And I decide to go ahead and tear the top and bottom borders of the picture. Again, creating just a nice little organic texture there. I elevate this whole picture with some foam. That is adhesive foam, adhesive on one side. And then I decide to go ahead and put my picture down towards the right side of the layout. And now I get to grab my favorite part, which are the embellishments. So I'm going to open up my Sunkissed embellishment pack and then just quickly go through it, making some quick decisions. I pulled out this label. This comes from, it was a bonus from the 12x12 double-sided paper pack. I was thinking about using that little Today die cut. It's really cute. I don't think it ends up making it in the end, as well as those little bees. I do love this little hot pink label. I'm a sucker for labels. I don't know what to tell you. And then again, just continuing through, just grabbing handfuls of stuff, seeing what sparks my interest. I decided to add more flowers to my layout. Like, is that even possible? Yes, it is. And I'm going to do it. You're going to see. I always save any leftover trimmings that I might have from like the rickrack or the little scalloped borders. So I do always save those. I'm a sucker for tags. My favorite die cut by far are tags, and I don't know what to say. I'm just a sucker for them. Here are these tickets. I love these tickets. These are just so much fun. And my favorite thing to do with those little tickets is to crumple them up, which you'll see in just a minute. I like to imagine that they were in my pocket and I just shoved them down deep in my pocket and they got all nice and crumbly and just folded and ripped. And so you'll see in just a second. I was trying to get that frame in there and it just wasn't working. But these flowers work. So you can see there just a little tiny leftover bit of scallops there. The rickrack sadly doesn't make it. So I decide here that I need more flowers. So I'm going back into my embellishment box and I'm looking for these gorgeous little flowers. I'm like, is there one more? There we go. That's going to be it. So here we go. This is honest to goodness distressing of those tickets. Mangling them beyond recognition, folding them down, tearing them, and then I typically will staple them together I'll usually staple it so that you can still see the staples. In this case, I stapled it a little bit too low. I'm going to grab my wonderful trusty Becky Higgins Project Life date stamper, which is every number on there is customizable. So, hey, if you did go to Alaska on a cruise in 1922, you totally could tag it as 1922. Or it could be just 2022. That little spatula up in the corner is such a great little tool. I use it all the time to help lift up things as I'm working, so I can slide die cuts or ephemera underneath. And here we go with this green tag. Oh my gosh, it's just beautiful. And I love how that green is like the same color as the lawn in the picture. And so it helps to kind of just bring some of that green down into to that floral paper, help to customize it. I added a little tiny strip of foam tape underneath the tag just to elevate the tag, the whole portion of that tag. And then I decided to add some black baker's twine. Of course, I decided to get a knot in it as I'm in the middle of doing this. So trim that up. And I typically work with folded over twine, so I folded it over and then I tied it up into a knot. I'm going to trim that out. And now let's go ahead and work with those flowers. So same type of deal. I'm just kind of putting them in there, and I'm going to add some foam tape to elevate the edges of those flowers. And I wanted that flower to come up over the picture. So each of those flowers is getting a little bit of foam tape to it. If you've ever had an opportunity to go to the Empress Hotel, they're known for their wonderful gardens, and just the landscaping is incredible. Of course, we were there, it was about like 9 or 10 o'clock at night, believe it or not. Adding one more little sprig of flowers in there, and then here I go in with my fine line red top glue, which it's a white glue that dries clear, and it comes in a wonderful needle nose applicator, so you can really get into some very tight spots. And I'm just putting my hand there just to kind of mush everything down, give the glue an opportunity to adhere a little bit to the papers below. So here I have this little notebook tag that was, again, part of the bonus in the 12 by 12 pack. And I'm going to grab my favorite pen in the whole universe, which is the Sarasa Mark-On Zebra 0.5 pen. I guess I'll do that after I put the title down. But that is my favorite pen. It's a gel pen that doesn't smear. I use it for all things scrapbooking as well as all things real life. Here I'm using this alphabet. This is the Florence alphabet from Bella Boulevard. It is my all-time favorite alphabet. You guys have seen me use it for the last couple of years. I have it in every color that was ever available, and I have like 4 or 5 sheets per color. I made a big investment, and I just love it. It's just a great universal alphabet. So just carefully lining up those letters to spell out the Empress Hotel. And here I grab that pen that I was talking about and write in Victoria, BC. And I decide to go and like unravel that knotted twine. And it just creates more of a frayed texture, which again, I'm all about the texture. And so this just adds a little bit more depth and interest to your page. I typically will like untwist it and then just go in with my tweezers, my pointy tweezers, and almost like comb the fibers out so that it does get a little bit unravelly and a little frizzy. And that, my friends, that's it. So enjoy and check out these little detail shots of this layout. And thank you so much for watching.